8:10.
8:10. Good luck. 8:30.
I don't mind that we start late. It's just I try to post about us being on live, so I want the live to hit when the post hits. That's all I care about.
Jason, they know this is a black hosted show, so they know even if they show up at 8:30, they're still on time.
Listen, my fans don't know that yet, Sturdy. They're learning still.
You got to understand, man. He's going to be late. He's going to be screaming at the screen. He's going to be, fucking something else. That's racist in some way.
Is everybody else like watching Jada Pinkett Smith talk and being like, I really want to watch her die and scream too?
No, just you.
I can't.
Just you.
Now, whenever a post even comes up like bashing her, I immediately just scroll past it because I'm done.
What is did something else recently happen with them? Because I've noticed that there's a lot being posted about her lately, and I have no idea why. I know she's a piece of shit and all that, but I didn't know something new happened.
Her memoir's coming out soon.
Yeah, her memoir's coming out. And part of that, and in another conversation, she claims she doesn't know why he called her the wife after the slap when that happened on that day, and then that they've been broken up for so long, this, that, and the third. Yet they did the red table thing, and they were husband and wife. You know what I mean? Supposedly they ain't been together since 2016 or some shit, and now she's going off about it. There's memes out there claiming that she's told him, "Hey, I'm actually Tupac." Like,
so is that what the whole Tupac memes I'm seeing are? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jayhan was good.
Everybody has completely lost their minds. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bunch of craziness, and it's. I don't want to. No, I'm not going to say this.
Ridiculous.
Do it.
But
do it, you coward.
You about to say Will Smith is about to become the next O.J. Simpson? Maybe.
No. I'm not even going to take it that far. I was just going to say Will Smith called Chris. And you know which Chris? Not this Chris. Chris Brown. He'll set her straight for you.
Ooh.
Love it.
All joking aside, though, if it was the other way around and this Will was doing all this, people would want to he's a terrible guy. He's abusing her and all this shit. But reverse.
It's gaslighting. It's gaslighting.
No, right.
Dude, this is all helping his
pieces
comeback.
Of shit, so.
This is helping Will Smith's comeback. People feel bad for him now.
If I'm being honest, I don't feel bad for Will. Like, I feel bad for him. Like, your wife is fucking destroying you.
But he's letting her.
They're taking it. I don't think he's a piece of shit as much as I know she is.
Oh yeah.
I think he's just she has stuff on him, like, because there was always the homosexual rumors, the swinger rumors, all that stuff. So either that or like he is just
infatuated with her, and it could be one of those things because and again, if it's the other way around to where it's the woman that's like really, and not out of fear, like say not out of fear because he hits her, but like the really like stuck on a guy like that, no matter how he treats her, it's like the same thing. And again, in those situations, someone's gonna want to go in there and, you got to get away. This person is toxic. You're gonna end up dead being stuck with this fool.
Yeah, there's been many times in interviews and stuff where he's, even with his old ex-wife, he did not want the divorce because of his vows, because of his faith and all this stuff. And he put up through it. He tried, and then ultimately he was like, whatever. So then he got with her, and that's his thing. He's like, divorces should not happen. Like, he felt like he went against literal God when that happened the first time type deal. So this time he was like, listen, we're not doing that. And we create a life, we create children. We're never gonna fucking, break up. We'll deal with the shit and we'll fight for it and we'll go through all of it. But look at how it's turning out now, 20 years later, 30 years later.
I just wonder if
your mental health is
how much of that was her playing that and messing with his way of thinking of like, dude, if you leave me, in the eyes of God, you are gonna be destroyed. And then like she dogs him on screen,
Well, listen, man. I'm broke, but I got your back.
Yeah, we don't care what she has on you at this point. I mean, as we're within the realm of reason. If it's your own personal business of sexuality, or if it's anything of nature that happens behind closed doors, as long as you're not hurting or damaging anybody, or doing anything heinous, let's just leave it at that. Then fuck it, man. Just fuck it.
Exactly.
What up, Will?
Yeah, drop her ass off at Camp Crystal Lake.
So why? How you doing, bud?
Yeah, we Dale.
Dale.
Yes, I am naked.
You know, you got to kick it off a little different to scare the people. Make sure you got to see who's paying attention.
Now, can anybody tell me, not any of you guys, why I'm naked for this movie in particular?
Oh.
For Friday the 13th, Part 6 in particular.
And while you guys are thinking about that, I'll just pop up the, you know, boop, this.
Getaway car. I'm driving in my getaway car. Told you I could do it, dude. Don't fucking challenge me. I'll do it.
I'm going to keep challenging you to this because this is fun. This is fun.
It's going to make me find a Taylor Swift fucking title for everything. God,
you know
man,
what?
that's so much work to have to fucking do that research.
I challenge you to finish the year out. I'll let you know what I'm going to be doing ahead of time. Minus interviews, but review. You accept that challenge?
I'll do my best. I'm not. You can make your own thumbnails.
Okay.
I'll just give you the title. You tell me what it's about, I'll give you a title.
Okay. That works. That works.
I'll help with thumbnails, but I can't do them all.
No, that's fine.
Teach you. I got to teach you how to fish.
Yep.
No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate you, Jayhan.
I said I'm going to teach you how to fish.
And then you teach me how to fish and how to make a good podcast.
You already have a good podcast. You have a great podcast.
Okay.
Oh no! Listen, I get it. I'm a sports fan. There's been plenty of times you could ask Chris. We're doing popcorn and pints, and my black ass is over here watching the 49ers playoff game. I respect that. I respect that more. If you're a sports fan, listen. Don't sit here and not watch your sports to watch me. Fuck that. Have them both on. I don't give a fuck if you put me on a little ass phone. Have them both on.
Yeah, as long as you hit that like and you have it on for an hour, that's all that matters to Sturdy because he gets that count. Let me count.
Yeah,
Count.
You can tune in
Muted
later.
counts, folks. Muted counts.
That's it.
You can tune in later. I get it. Sometimes you got to balance the sound out. Depends on who you're watching the game with, too. If you're watching with your boys, they're going to be complaining and crying. So you got to, yeah.
I do that. That's in direct reference to me because I did that shit earlier. And I told Chris I did it.
We all do it.
I am so glad that none of my friends are really sports people. I'm just never been a sports guy.
That's fair.
I tried when I was younger, and I can watch a game if it's on or some shit. But if I'm at somebody's house, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen a bunch of bullshit with friends getting too drunk at parties and shit with football stuff, and basketball shit.
Oh, that helps.
You'll have that. Definitely have that.
But
I always liked hockey though. Whatever.
Nice. This is awesome.
The fights, they were always fun.
See,
I haven't been into hockey since Mary Lemieux was left.
It was black?
left.
I don't know if you know how this works, dude. I feel like you should.
We just changed shades after
Since
our
we
time.
went there, do we have anybody who plays in the NHL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. My times have
yeah,
changed.
I don't know who, but I think there's one or two, right?
Like who? Like, what do you mean? Do we have anybody? Like us?
Representing our demographic.
Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans.
Boom.
There's one or two.
Boom. Look at that.
There you go.
Dale
Yeah,
Angels.
Dale got it.
That's exactly why.
It's
Appreciate
nude because there has to be nudity in a Jason movie, and there's none in Part 6. Yes, Dale. You got
What's
it.
up, Teddy? Thanks for popping on, buddy.
I miss Dale. I miss seeing Dale over on my show. He's a great guy.
He's
He's got a good
awesome.
show too, man. You gotta go check it out.
He's a genius too. All right, so let's kick it off with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6. We'll just dive right into the ratings. What the fuck?
Fucking sucks. But I still enjoy it for some reason.
This movie does not suck. I mean, the end sucks, but up until the end, it's fun.
Actually, weirdly enough, I like the. Yeah, well, first of all, sucks is subjective. I don't have a shirt on. You look like should be fucking following Cillian Murphy around on a Netflix television series. So
I went to the office today. That's why I'm nice.
I was in Italy for a month. Ciao, I'm getting back in the swing. Dale, I miss you, buddy, and I'm so glad you got to go to Italy for a month. That seems like a great experience. I hope you didn't die. You're still here, though.
How was the food?
It was very good.
Are you kidding me? Bro, Italy is like one of the healthiest places on earth. Like, people don't really get sick there and everything because they do everything from scratch. It's all grown from the earth by themselves. They don't use extra crazy fertilizer or nothing. It's loving the earth, giving back some love to you. It's fucking awesome, bro. I've never been, but I definitely want to go.
I don't know if that's true.
Their meat isn't cancer cells mutated into animals for us to eat. And they're doing a lot better than we are.
It's true.
It's partly true. I said it, so now it's on the internet. That means Google's gonna hear it and find it. It's true.
See? Boom.
It's now a new fact. You guys didn't know this before, but we can make up facts now. It's the internet.
That's true. So is 2 + 2 really 4 people? You figure it out. But yeah. So let's I'm gonna pull you guys up one by one. Start with.
Don't tell me when it's me, because I'm making your background.
Tell you when it's you.
Yeah,
You're making me another background. Okay.
I'm making you the sturdy video one.
Okay. So Chuck, just let us know ratings. We'll just do ratings, no reasons.
Just ratings, no reasons.
Yeah.
1 through 10.
Yeah.
0 through 10.
Okay. Man, I have to give this one. I'll give it an 8.
8. Really? Now I'm talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street. My bad. Sorry. Nope.
I
Look,
TJ
just
said
bring
it
it back. It's Nate.
For Freddy's Dead, I give this 2.
2.
And just because he had something to say, just your rating for now.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
And Mick, you're coming up next because of your.
I'm here. I'm naked. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. Part 6, Freddy's. Listen. This is, and I'm not explaining it, but I'm just going to say this is more of a personal than it is a reflection on the movie, because it would be much lower if that were the case. But I'm going to go with a middle of the road 5. I can still enjoy this movie, and there's some good laughs in it. Sorry, I said too much. I said I wouldn't do that.
Oh, good. I give it a 3.
Dude, you can't make me take a gummy and then be like, yeah,
Bruh.
say nothing else.
2 though?
Are you giving it a 2?
No, I was in awe. My mouth was dropped until just now.
He doesn't
I'll
like
get to my reasons for my 2.
I know, and that's fine. I'm still a piece of shit. I agree to disagree at this point, sir.
I do want to point out I have a Freddy's Dead poster on my wall. Oh, you can't see it. I didn't realize that.
Nice. All right, for me, I watched it today. I know it's one of my least favorite, but I've watched it a ton, and certain things about this movie scared me as a kid as well. Still, I know I say that a lot about all these movies. I'm gonna go 7 on this one.
All right, Chris.
I got 7.
Let's put our gloves on, fellas.
I gotta drop.
We're gonna get this down.
I gotta go to it. I gotta drop this down to it too, guys. I gotta be honest.
You said 2?
That's what I'm talking about.
I gotta be, because I'm just thinking, like, jumping back to last night, till Tuesday. 4 was worse than this one, but this one wasn't much better than part 4.
No,
and I don't remember either one of these. Or no, 4. No, sorry, 5. Part 5, not 4. But 5.
Yeah, 5 is way worse.
5.
What did I give 5?
Fucking 7 or some shit.
6?
6.5 for
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I just it just didn't. Again, it didn't feel like a Freddy movie. Like the past, I'll say shit. Even no, 5 and 6 especially did not feel like Freddy movies to me. They didn't feel like Nightmare on Elm Street at all. 4 is on the borderline.
See, that's fascinating because I think 6 definitely feels like a Freddy movie.
I agree.
More so than 5 and 2 did.
I'd say,
I would
to
say
me
it's definitely
personally, if you
Maybe
remove
Big
1 and
for the-
3 out of Nightmare and just base everything else on that, even Wes Craven's, like 6 is, I think, the movie that is most like what everybody thinks about Freddy.
Yeah.
With the silly. Okay. Yeah.
Not just the silly, but I mean the dreams, the manipulation. I see. I'll get into it. So this movie would be. I would give this movie a better review if it had connected to the previous movies a little bit better, because it would have been easy to put Jesse from part 2 into that role of the guy who's lost his memory, and then be some connectivity throughout the movie. But this is one. Probably the reason I give it a 7 is because as a kid, I love this movie. And same as Chris, there's moments in this movie that scared me. There's moments that made me laugh. There's a lot of really funny stuff in this movie. And I think Robert Englund is on fire as far as comedic goes and scary goes in this movie. Wow. And yes, it does get a little cheesy with Tom Arnold and Roseanne showing up. Like there's moments, but I don't know. Overall, it's just a fun movie to watch.
Well, I used to love this movie when I was a kid. I used to love it, and I rewatched it for another podcast a few months ago, and I was like, don't like it as much anymore. But go on, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. I'm listening to you, man.
I used to really like you also. I had that realization recently.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jason. Did he interrupt you?
No, you're good.
I'm fucking with you. Just messing around. Interrupt me all you want. I don't care. Oh, man. I'd rather hear what you have to say. So, this movie for me, I've always put them up on the walls. I have 4 horror posters, and these are the 4 movies, even out of other mainstream non-horror movies, that were like the biggest awakening of how important movie marketing was. So I have the Friday the 13th Jason Takes Manhattan poster, and I Love NY with Jason's face in it. The Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, and Sleepaway Camp 2. And the reason of all of them they were like sort of an awakening in marketing. Like I remember when Halloween, Freddy's Dead, and living in Jersey City, right across the water from New York, I saw those fucking signs everywhere before they took them down. And Sleepaway Camp 2 always stood like right on the end cap of the horror section at my local video store growing up. So it was always like, Jason, Freddy's glove, a fucking chainsaw. Like, oh my God, what is this movie? So Freddy's Dead for me is always going to I'm going to have like a weird like connection to it. I love it. And for that sense, it's a bad movie. It's not well written. And I would argue that it's probably Robert Englund's worst performance as Freddy. No, I'm not saying he's bad, Chris.
No. I'm just
Robert Englund.
The words are hitting me, and I'm just responding.
It's subjective, Chris. It's subjective.
I know. But wrong. We're having fun with it, dude. Guys, stop taking me seriously. I'm and naked. Like when are you taking seriously? So for me, like that's a movie. Like I'll put it middle of the road, but I do realize how fucking horrendous this movie is, story wise and everything else.
All right,
for a lot of reasons.
I wish they connected it better, especially because 3, 4, and 5 were connected.
What up, Trip? Thank you.
They were at least connected.
Yeah. Like you know. I think it was said, as a kid, love this movie, whatever. As a kid, I love this movie. It was in the comedy section at Roar's Video in the town where I grew up at. Because I always thought it was just goofy, and it was just it was different. I'm kind of a sucker about different movies that people usually hate. But rewatching this after not watching it for a long time and actually paying attention to this recently, I saw a lot of problems in it. I mean, a lot of problems. It's like, one, it doesn't connect to the others with really any of the other movies. But it's got like kind of a speedball effect on emotions, because like, one, you got this, it's all goofy and this is funny, and then we have what's her name, who has the molestation thing with her dad and all that, and then it's like, back to funny and comedy, and then he goes into like, Freddy was kidnapping kids and doing all this shit, and like, look at all these really fucked up gloves that you never see him use, but apparently he did some heinous shit with them. And it just like, I don't know, it just kind of like, it's all over the place. And it was hard for me to really enjoy it. Because it's like, okay, well, is this supposed to be more of a comedy? More, or is it supposed to be something more serious? It's like, there was, I don't know why they bothered to put such a serious story plot for, what was the girl's name? Was it Christy?
I can't, Caitlin or something like that. I can't remember her name.
The blonde chick that's beating everybody up and shit. But like, I don't know why they decided to go with such a serious downer of a. I mean, I get that they needed a reason to show why she didn't trust people and all that stuff. But it's like, man, the rest of this movie's fucking goofy as shit.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. It was really hard for me to really enjoy this movie. One thing I always did enjoy about it is like Alice Cooper playing his dad, and like that whole thing was kind of cool. Origin stories are fun sometimes, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like.
Oh, the girl's name Tracy.
Tracy. It was also the confusing thing. It was like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Who is this kid? We don't know what this guy who's supposedly, Freddy's son and all that. And then you find out, oh, no, near the end of the movie, he's not actually. They've had you believe this whole time. And now you're going to, it's the social worker chick. And now it's I don't know. It was just, the movie's a fucking mess.
The only thing I will say is that twist to me works.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't goofy, it would work even more. Because the stuff with the father... the stuff with him being the father of this social worker, I love that whole like yin and yang sort of vibe to it. Like, she was the child of the most horrendous child murderer, so she dedicates her life unknowingly to protecting children. I thought that was very cool to make that a part of it.
I think I just wrote it in better.
There's a good movie.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's a good movie there exploring Tracy's trauma, running parallel with Freddy's daughter's trauma. Like, that could have been a pretty solid movie. Unfortunately,
get rid of Brecken fucking Meyer jumping around.
Hey, I like the deaths in this movie, but I get that. Like, I understand your gripe with that part.
It's more from a story standpoint. I do like the deaths.
Yeah, it definitely does not fit the tone of this movie. Like, take that out, and it's arguably a lot better. Like, you shouldn't be having her dealing with that in the midst of all these essentially Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yeah. Like, it's just I don't know. It's just a weird vibe when you're watching it, because as a kid, I remember having a great time writing this fucking movie all the time, eating pizza with my friends and like watch this shit and laughing our asses off. And as I've gotten older and I'm a parent and everything now, and it's like, I don't want to laugh at this. This is bad. Nothing about this. I feel dirty, and not in a good way. Like I don't know. This one, I have an issue with just about all of them, but this one I have the biggest issues with. I just think that they're like, oh well, Freddy's a household name now. Let's make him as goofy as possible, and let's really confuse people of what we're going for. No, they could have gone a different way with it. They should have, if anything, they should have gone back to the original and how it was actually scary. That it was a serious movie that actually did scare people. It still does. When you introduce the original to a younger crowd, it still freaks them out. And this one was just comedy, and it just not good.
Yeah. They could have done the daughter storyline with Alice, like just retcon her a little bit. She was adopted, and Freddy was actually her father. That's why he was able to connect to her son, and have her son be the guy who's lost his mind. You know what I mean? Or lost his memories. Like, there's an easier way to do it. Like, you can make a good sequel to a shitty movie like Nightmare on Elm Street 5. And there's definitely a lot of things here that could have worked very well had they just been tweaked a little bit. Like, maybe focus more on the trauma and how it relates back to I can't remember Freddy's daughter's name, and I've seen this movie like 300 times. Have that connect, have her be a part of the other franchise. Let it go through. And the Dream Warriors, oh my god, how cool would it have been if Lawrence Fishburne played Doc? And if he had gone and learned about dreams and stuff, so he could help the kids that he lost in part 3.
This movie gets an automatic 3 points just for Yaphet Kotto stepping on the set.
That's
that
fair.
Man,
you can still have him on
alien royalty, and he can step on any goddamn set that he wants.
I'm just saying it would have made more sense because they were definitely going for the Dream Warriors thing, and like I like this movie, but here, I'm going to pick apart my issues. Why are they suddenly disappearing when they go into dreams? And then where did they find his body if he disappeared when he went through the table? Like, how do they have him in the
talk
back
yourself
of the van?
out of your thing?
Out of your rating? Like, you're just like, I gave it this rating, but...
Wait, who disappeared when they went into dreams?
Mine's purely on nostalgia and fun, like the fun factor.
That makes sense.
It has been established that you can disappear, though.
But where did the body come from? Like, how did they get the body into the back of the van for it to parachute out of the top of the van?
Oh, listen, I get it. It doesn't make a lick of fucking sense. I'm just saying it has been established in like part 3 that you can disappear when you go into the dream.
Wait, who disappeared?
The fucking kid kept disappearing all the
time. The boy?
That one kid.
Yeah, John Doe.
I never picked up on that he disappeared.
Yeah, he does. He does kind of just wander off.
Well, don't send Amber Alerts to Chris's phone.
No, when they knock him to the table,
I guess if we thought about it, that would probably be a situation of like sleepwalking. All right, but may I interject so I can enhance or try to debunk some of you guys's
we are on a show called Horror with Sir Sturdy, and as much as I love this show and it is one of my favorites, stop using so many big words.
What, rebuttal?
We're not.
Rebuttal? All right. So, can I disagree with you guys?
That's too big.
Smaller. All right, so check it out. I understand the flaws. Again, I told Sturdy when we first started watching this, especially opening sequence, gave me tons of nightmares growing up. I have a fear of heights. I would have dreams where I was falling. That would resonate with me. Mm-hmm. The stupid witch on the thing, on the broom. It's like, all right, as a child, you watch The Wizard of Oz and you're like, he is evil. Like, she's the pinnacle. And then to see him come through, and it's kind of funny at the same time, but it's Freddy, you're fucking terrified as a child, right? Now watching it, yeah, perspective shifts a little bit. I was laughing throughout this whole movie at tons of different things. So, yes, I see your claim, and it's fucked up. But we also have to remember that this is a time when he is at the pinnacle of his popularity, in his pop culture popularity, which is why they play off of a lot of different things. Even his one-liners are catered to being more widely received by people, like with the Power Glove thing, the video games, the when he's talking to his dad, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" That's a callback to Full Metal Jacket. There's so many different things that they play off of. Despite that, it's still Freddy being Freddy because he's a one-liner guy. He's a guy that fucks with your dreams. He just finds new inventive ways, and it's based on your likes. So you can't really knock it that the kid's a stoner video game head. You can't really knock it that, you know, the doctor uses, or the workout girl uses her dreams and her powers, just like in real life, she thinks of her to be strong in her dream. And there's a play on all of that to show you, I'm really Freddy. I'm that guy. You can't fuck with me. What up, Chad?
What up, Chad?
Good, Chad.
But I gotta say though, real quick about the whole video game thing. Okay, he probably should have eaten some shrooms because it would have made a whole lot more fucking sense. I've never smoked. I have never smoked a joint and played a video game.
There was also a time where there was a big thing going on where if you even got caught with a seed, a little bit of bud or a joint, you were basically facing federal time, and they were enforcing this like no tomorrow. This is just after, like, or just before, during like the Rodney King times and all this stuff. There's a lot of reasoning they did certain things. Plus, marijuana was probably the one easier acceptable thing. The only other time we use a lot of drug references, if you think about Scarface or something like that. And then if not, it's always about prohibition and alcohol with the gangsters back in the day.
Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong too, yeah, exactly. But big again, marijuana is always the one in the focus of the eye that they've accepted.
I know. I'm just saying it's just kind of ridiculous because even then they had shrooms and hallucinogens.
But then even we come back to the notions of the special effects with this movie. This is one of the first movies again to try to get better 3D, try to get better CGI with the effects coming out the TV. Then they try to call back to different era with the psychedelics, right? And they try to play into it. They tried to play into the psychedelics of it with those colors and the way the layout comes up on when the board changes, because like it's a video game, right? The scenery changes behind the TV and all that. But even with that, they did again iron out his face to make it smoother, but he's still now more in your face, which to me is a little bit more terrifying, because now can you only escape him? You see him, he doesn't mind being seen, and he doesn't mind playing games with you even more. So they do a great job with it. Now to Jason's things here, where he talks about we could have had different, better aspects.
Real quick, if he's popping this up.
What?
Freddy vs. Jason, part 6.
Gotcha.
Freddy and Jason, part 6.
Now to Jason's things, where we could have had certain things be better. That fucking Lawrence Fishburne thing, genius. The thing coming up with, hey, referring back to some of these other movies with the child. Okay, so now we're left to maybe have to calculate and assume, okay, Alice and her baby end up dead because Freddy must have got them and he's been dormant. So now he needs to be revived. So now he has to find another kid to come out. If this is the last kid and he lied. So now my question is how did he even get to infect this kid with the notion of Freddy Krueger, to use him to go to Springwood to get his daughter back? How does that happen? There's so many problems with that part of the story as well. But for me, in this movie, it still worked because it's still a movie. It does what it does. It's still Freddy. So you kind of don't care. And then in this one, he literally tells you, he breaks all the rules. I am eternal. I'm Freddy. I got my powers from a special place. And when was the last time in this era of movie or horror period that we see breaking the fourth wall? Because when he's doing the deaf kid, he's like, at the camera. And then he goes about the stalk walk. Like, there's so many little things that, yes, have problems, but are so great about this movie, which is why I gave it more of the 7. If it didn't have the humor, though, that it did, I probably would have given this a 4 or 5. But since it had the humor, I think that's what actually brought it home, especially since this is supposed to be, at that point, the sign-off to Freddy.
See, this is the first horror movie I owned on VHS, so I think that's another thing that holds special for me. But how hard would it have been to make John Jacob, the son from 5, like... There's a connection right there.
Exactly.
Like, it's not that difficult. It's not like the little baby actor is getting a lot of work. Like, you can find anybody to cast in that role.
The fact that
you guys all make all great valid points, and yes, I can't take away from the reasoning behind why you giving it the score you give it. I just can't agree with it, and I just got to give you my points as why I think it should be closer, at least up on scale a little bit.
I appreciate your passion for this. Like, Jesus Christ! Like, if I didn't hate this movie so much, I would almost change. But the crazy thing about Freddy's Dead is when they thought that he was done, he was over with. That Hollywood actually, if it tells you how big the character was, they actually had a funeral for him.
Yep,
that's wild.
And like. It's like think about what this character is and how big he became. A child killer who would later become one of the biggest like outfits for like Halloween for years and years to go.
Still is in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, hey, I can be Freddy for Halloween. It's like,
just
that's
today,
gross.
me and 30 were watching the Reborn Jeepers Creepers, and they throw a kickback to the girl wearing a Freddy costume, sexy for the guy, and I'm like, this is so crazy, like that's so dope, and that's what I mean.
Fuck those movies.
This movie is my argument for what killed horror movies before Scream picked it back up.
Wow,
this is one of the biggest proponents because you took one of our horror icons and you ruined them. Now, again, I like this movie because it's terrible. And that's why I like it, and I have an affinity for it. But this movie led to Jason Goes to Hell. Now, that is a franchise that killed this person twice, killed this icon twice, because for some reason they were like, all right, Freddy did it, let's get rid of it. And in the 90s, when all these horror movies weren't doing as well, these sequels, they thought the only way to do it is finish it off, have their death on screen, and everyone's coming out to see the final one. And they just don't have a good formula for it. So it's all, and they don't care because they're getting rid of it. So it's like, get them out there. But to me, movies like this, and I can list a lot of them, but I would say this is right up there, at least within the top 10, maybe top 5 of the movies that helped destroy the horror genre.
Jason Goes to Manhattan. Yeah, I agree with you about that. Yeah. I like this movie, and I agree 100% that this is one of the movies that killed horror back in the 90s.
Yeah, but Jason Goes to Hell was a mess too, and I love that movie.
It was Jeepers Creepers 4. That movie sucked. I only made it half.
All the Jeepers Creepers sucks. Don't get me started on that fucking shit. I am so against that fucking movie and that franchise.
Oh, I know why.
Well, the new one.
I think we all know why.
The new one has a different creative team.
It doesn't matter. That guy created it. They shouldn't keep it going. It's bullshit. I don't support
We
it.
like our pedophiles on the screen with knives on their hands, not making the movies, you motherfuckers.
Not actually doing the shit, you know.
Listen,
Yeah.
I just gotta ask you guys also, if you're in the chat, go ahead and do us a favor. Tell us what is your rating for this movie, Nightmare Part 6, Freddy's Dead. This is the one where they use 3D. Like, I had the box set. You put on the 3D glasses for the last 2 or 3 scenes of the film. They talk about everything. They show Freddy being younger. Tell us what you think of this one, where it falls on your scale, 0 to 10. And tell us why, and then, you know, continue watching, because now we got to talk about, you know, the transition here of what else is going on. As soon as Freddy,
Now
you know, we get the cue.
I want the darker version of Freddy's Dead, like exploring his childhood, like we got in this. And man,
and that's one of the reasons why I recently saw a fan film, and I that shit still, like, I get angry because I think of it. And what was it called? It was
Dylan's Nightmare. Was it that one?
No. The one before that we watched, that it was just Freddy being alive, and it's a short film showing him, like, they don't show nothing, but they show him.
One of Chris Notarelli's films
and stuff. What's that?
Was it one of Chris Notarelli's films?
I think so. Yeah. I think it might be on Blinky 500's page.
Yeah, because there was like a 3-story thing. We just watched the whole thing together. I know what you're talking about, and that was the first one. Yeah.
Oh, so good. You guys got to go find that. If I can find it at one of these days, I'll do a post real quick and be like, here's that thing I was talking about, Horror with Sir Sturdy. Because it's disturbing. It's disturbing. Mm-hmm. It's like what really Freddy was before he transitioned into the demon and all that stuff. And it's...
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I love it. I love this. And again, I hope I'm not yelling and screaming in people's ears, blowing them out or nothing. I appreciate you acknowledging the passion, because I can talk to the end of time, man.
And what I was going to say, too, is I understand the passion. I understand the nostalgia. I understand the love and all that extra cheat points, whatever you want to call it, whatever people are going to say that you're going to give it the bullshit points. I don't give a fuck, because I do the same thing for Friday the 13th, because it's one of those things, again, you keep going back to your childhood and shit when you see these and you just enjoy it. And you still enjoy it now, which is cool. And I'm the same way with Friday the 13th. I actually enjoy them even more, even noticing the mistakes, not just from the Blu-rays and DVDs, like learning it, but I'm like, that really makes me enjoy it even more, because it's still dope what they did at that time with the budget they had. Like, you understand it more too. Like, with certain shit they had, like, yeah, I get it, and I love it even more, and I do. But this movie's not fucking memorable to me. 4, 5, and 6, I don't remember at all, and I guess for a good reason. Because, I mean, 4 was the best. I gave that a 5.
Oh yeah, 4 was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. As bad as I remembered it being.
4 started down that road.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
This is inevitable. This is good. It's a good road right now. It's a lot of shops.
Like, if it stopped, ran out. If it stopped with the first 3, in my opinion, I feel like that's a tough trilogy to beat.
I don't know, man.
Are you talking about Freddy or Jason?
Freddy. If it's just a trilogy, just a trilogy, and I'm talking horror trilogy, not Jason.
Friday the 13th still beats it with its first 3 movies.
Yeah, but it would be longer.
I'd argue that
they're just a better continuation of one another.
But yeah, they're better made films too. They're more fun.
I have an announcement, guys. The chocolate bar is hitting right now. Just so you know.
Hell yeah.
But shit. Anything else about this one? Anything else about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6? Anybody in the chat have anything to say about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6?
Poo poo.
You, gentlemen? Huh?
I said poo poo.
Poo
poo. Dumb. Garbage.
Like it.
Trash. If it's poop, it's one of those nice relieving poops that you're like, you know what I mean?
I was not relieved at all watching this movie. Constipation. Aggravation.
Backed up for a week or 2.
I do want to let you guys know that the charity event that we did on Friday the 13th, Cast for a Cause, the charity is still going, and I mean, if you can afford to donate, all for one, or is it all for one? One for all?
All for lunch.
All for lunch. I'm high. All for lunch. All for lunch. We can help feed these awesome, amazing children. They shouldn't have to pay for school lunch. I think that's fucking bullshit. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. But again, share the link if you can. I'd greatly appreciate that. If you can donate, please donate. We're having this go all the way up till the 31st, all the way up till Halloween. So
for our 300th episode.
Ooh,
Nice.
300 episodes over there in the Scene Snobs, and I'm gonna be over there. I'm gonna be over there, and there's gonna be some. I'm letting you guys know right now. HorrorWithSir.STURDY is gonna be doing a few shows on Halloween. Just so you guys know.
Few shows on Halloween.
Few, yeah.
God damn, you're busy.
Make sure you're there. Make sure you tune in for this stuff. And then I'm kicking. I'm either ending it off or doing something else after the Scene Times. I have no fucking idea after that, but you better be there for episode 300. That's important.
It's gonna be a fun one.
That's important. Let's hop on over to Friday the 13th, part 6. And let's see. You know what? We started with Jason.
That works.
Friday the 13th part 6 is a 9. I love this freaking movie.
9.
Oh yeah, I'm only supposed to give the rating. Shit.
I think
All
it
right.
He was ready to go.
All right, check it out. No reason.
You're supposed to just give a number, Chris.
You're talking too much, Chris.
9.
Ooh.
I'm like, why is it on me then? I had more time.
Quote my friend Billy Bob from the hit movie Varsity Blues. Give it a 10. Give it a fucking 10. That's it.
Give it an 8.
Okay. I think you guys know my rating, but I'm going to say you need 10 fingers to hold 2 cups. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about.
Jesus Christ, 30.
Give every movie a 10.
Damn, dude, every fucking movie's got to be linked to 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Yes. Mick
I'm
got
not
it.
okay with this anymore.
Mick
2 Girls, 1 Cup gets linked together. Better than Freddy's Dead.
Yo,
Don't encourage
we're
him.
gonna lose Mick as a friend for 2 reasons: 2 girls and Nick Cage.
Yeah, you got. I'll actually let you talk about that before you keep besmirching Nick Cage.
Wait, I'm curious. How is there any debate between these 2 movies? Jason Lives is clearly what?
Clearly superior.
Completely superior.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by far.
What's going on is part of Sturdoween is we're doing franchises up against each other.
Okay.
1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, all the way up till 7. And then the remakes. Then Freddy vs. Jason. Which it's fun watching them both at the same time. Well, together rather than doing it one by one and all that shit. So, doing something different, having some fun.
Part 6 is where Friday the 13th picks it back up and redeems itself. Friday 6 is one of my favorites. CJ Graham killed it as Jason. I'd go a strong 8.5.
Too bad 7, 8, 9, and 10 kill it again. But
Whoa. Back up, Jason.
I'd argue that.
I'm going to be arguing that on Tuesday.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about it because those movies are shit. Anyway, up to this point, this franchise is great.
I'm so lucky I don't have controls on this panel on his board. I'd totally be putting you in the green room.
Next time. Go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry to cut you off.
I up until this point, I like all the Friday the 13th movies up until 6. 5, I don't even bother me either because 5 is the reason that makes Tommy Jarvis go out and check Jason's grave, which gives us this wonderful movie. This movie is amazing.
Hard to argue.
Tell him, Chad. Shut your dirty mouth, Jason.
Whichever one past this is any good.
7.
All right.
I love 7 and I love 8 too.
In my opinion, this is a horror movie. This is what a horror movie should be. Yes, you can have, zanier horror behind it, campy, crazy, whatever. You can have ones that elevate it or go even more into the horrific, dramatic side. This, to me, should be your baseline for horror movies. Part 6. It's like, if you can be this good, you can either elevate it or you're going to accept what you are underneath it.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is a perfect barometer for what horror is.
Oh, I agree. This is great. And that's why I think every movie following it fails in comparison.
I respect that, Clark. I respect that.
Okay.
My rating scale is way different. Like I do Well, for one, I start from a -10 because of this movie called Blood Lake to a +10. That's one, and then two, like I rate it based on just how that movie, when I'm watching the movie, the feeling I get from that is the rating I'm going to give it. So it's not necessarily going up against any other movies or anything like that. It's just the feeling I get from that moment, and then of course my crazy ass rating scale.
And also it's all subjective. It's whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
so
yeah. No, I'm just.
Clark Griswold may not like it. No, I don't know his real name. That's why I'm saying Clark Griswold. But he may not like it, and that's perfectly fine. I got no issues with that.
Oh, that's fine. I love it.
But I feel like a lot of us are rating this based on our feelings on it. So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I feel like if you go 20, 30 years back and start talking about movies, most of our care for that movie is going to be solely based on nostalgia or the feeling we had.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
So it drives me crazy when people are like, "I wouldn't do this." But everyone's different.
Yeah.
If everyone here was saying 9s or 10s or 6s or 2s or whatever for everything, you wouldn't be watching.
True. I have to add to that. It is kind of like, well, it is kind of like a staple for what a horror movie should be. I mean, it's the story plot's great. I mean, like 5. We didn't actually have Jason. This was a perfect resurrection story. I got to actually spend a weekend at the camp a couple years ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Ended up being a crazy ass week, but the weekend was really, really cool because the director was there too. I'm drawing a blank on his name. McLaughlin. And
I had him on before actually.
Oh yeah, you ever listen to his band, the Sloths?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have one song I like. But no, like he talking to him and listening to him talk about the making of this movie, and it was kind of like he was thinking about how do you bring Jason back? What is the best way to go about it? And you don't want to have, because he was even talking about slow movies and all that stuff. He's like, this can't be. This is a resurrection story. It has to be straight, boom. And there's not a boring part in this movie. It's like I like some slow burn films, but yeah, this one is if it isn't perfect, it's damn near perfect, just because of the fact that it's a fun one. It's a fun fucking movie. It's not. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it has pretty much everything you want in a Friday the 13th film. Good kills and everything.
It's fascinating because Mick said Freddy's Dead is like everything people associate with Freddy Krueger, and this movie is everything people associate with Jason. Because this is the first movie to actually have kids. Like the camp is actually like active.
Oh yeah.
And Tommy Jarvis actually feels like a continuation of Corey Feldman from 4, and not unlike the guy from the second one.
He doesn't. Nah, I can't say that. I can't give it that. It doesn't feel like Feldman because it's not Feldman.
Well, it's a better representation of the character. I mean, that
then part 5. I'll give it that. Tom Matthews, he did knock it out the park, but I still would love to have seen, Corey Feldman going through that whole role. But
what's the one part? I would love to hear that. Because I'm not saying you're wrong. It's not.
I'm gonna say nudity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say nudity.
I thought with this and reinventing it and not having the nudity, honestly, for it being as early in the 80s as it was 86, 87 this came out, it was a good turn. Everybody was lambasting with nudity. No nudity did not ruin this movie.
No. Not
at all. And what's funny about it is because
it came out when?
You guys know me, my shits and shit that I say. I didn't even notice there was no nudity. Like when I watch these movies, yes, blood, guts, and boobs is always amazing. Who doesn't love titties? But I'm mainly there for the cool kills.
Right.
I'm there for the cool ass kills.
Listen, if nudity's in a film, actually, I kind of get annoyed if nudity's in a film and I'm just a snob in that sense. Like, it drives me fucking crazy. It's like, what is this doing here? This is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, not that it's not, you can't enjoy the female form. It's great.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, if it makes sense, if it like basically anything Angelina Jolie did in the 90s, it makes sense. The story was about that. you know.
Right.
But like horror movies, like Halloween made sense. They're sexually active teenagers, and okay, there's some nudity. It makes, but then it just started becoming, let's kill every woman we can get with nudity.
Yeah.
And I applaud part 6 because in the 80s they brought Jason back, which was a huge gamble as Frankenstein, basically.
Yeah.
And turned around and said, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna not do any nudity either, and it worked.
I mean, they even had sex in it. There was no nudity.
Well,
I mean, they had, you know, a little bit of sex, but there was no, you know, no nudity. As a kid, I hated that. I was like, all right, where's the boobs? And as an adult and as a parent, I'm glad that it doesn't have any nudity, because there's not anything too crazy in it, because I could put it on the front room and not worry about my kid, you know, seeing it or coming in, you know, on a bad part.
Yep.
You know, so like, yeah, nudity's fun and all, but like it doesn't have to be in it. And this movie does definitely prove it. I mean, it's, you know, fast paced.
I didn't miss it one bit.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, like, what was it, part 3, where they're having sex and stabbed them both with the thing?
Yeah.
Like, if there's nudity with kills like that, cool, because it's like, okay, they're gonna die, but they're gonna die while they're, you know what I mean?
But essentially, Friday the 13th set that up.
Yep.
That didn't exist before. People having sex in films did not cause the killer to go after you.
Part 2.
Until, I would argue part 1. I'd argue part 1.
No, I'm talking about that killer was part 2. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, part 1, because when they did that, and you had
Jason came on
Kevin Bacon, that one girl.
It was the 2 counselors in the beginning, Bernadette.
In the very
that automatically set up Jason's going to kill people, or whoever's the killer at that time, you know, and then turning into Jason is going to kill people having sex, because they felt like they were completely fucking victimized because you were off having sex. That made sense. When they started adding it to everything and making it a trope, it was like, it makes sense for Jason. Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Oh,
you know?
No, I feel like it is a Friday the 13th thing, and I think that in any other movie, it's just kill fucking everybody. It doesn't matter for whatever reason, just kill them all, and we don't need reasons because they're killers, you know. But with the story arc of everything, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and to
actually,
you know, with Clark and when he's saying like sex is, you know, like we're saying pretty much the same thing. 6 was that perfect. All right, he's a fucking zombie, basically. Well, he's a deadite. We find that out later. But he's basically a zombie now, or he's Frankenstein or some sort of monster. It's no longer about little boy Jason feels jaded and wants to go kill. Now it doesn't become about the sex, the drugs, or anything. He's just a killing machine.
Yeah.
And it still makes sense why he won't kill children.
Yeah.
So
because you seen him look at the little girl, get close, and then just leave.
Yeah.
No kids.
What's funny is McLaughlin even said that because at the camp he was taking everybody like on a walkthrough of different, you know, the different areas where they film certain things. Oh fuck, shit. I gotta do that.
I know that feeling. Yep,
that was me like 3 seconds ago.
All right. Oh fuck, we were just talking about it.
The kids.
Kids.
Jason not killing kids.
Yeah, not killing.
No, it was right before that.
It makes sense him coming back as a monster. He's not interested.
That's what it was. Because McLaughlin was very, very adamant about making sure we all knew that Jason was not a zombie. He was like, he's like zombies get shot in the head and they die. He's like, Jason's been shot in the head. He doesn't die. He's not a zombie. And I was like, but okay. He's like, he's reanimated. He's reanimated. I'm like, well, I get that because Frankenstein was the reason why he did the way he did, the electricity thing. But I don't know. I don't even think he had the Deadite thing in his head, even though that makes more sense than him just being like a not zombie. You know what I mean?
Zombie. Zombie. Kids, I agree with. Animals, he's got to eat.
He does kill animals.
He's got to eat.
Yeah, he does eat. Yeah, because they find that dead animal in part 2.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Jason is not a vegetarian. Although, what a twist of events if he was.
Shit, that would be a way to get people to go vegan and all that shit. Like, you see
God,
how strong
Freddy
he
had
was?
even more ammo for him. What?
Shit.
Yep. This is, and it's funny that I think Mick said it earlier about Freddy. And it's weird that now I realize that this came out in 86, because I was going to say it's kind of dope that shows what competition does. What I'm getting to is he touched on the point how Freddy, this is the idea of Freddy that most people think of when they think of it. And for me, this is, when I think of Jason, this is what I think of. That lightning bolt hitting him coming out, and then all of a sudden he's reborn. He puts a hand through somebody's chest. He's got the moment later where he rips the arm off with the machete, and he's kind of looking at it almost like he's confused, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And it's like so dope to me. But then now we play into the background of these movies. Jason came out first, did it first with the reborn and with the super strength and the notion of the one that everybody thinks of, because when you think of Jason, you think of unstoppable. He's just coming. So now that gets into, okay, Friday may have been more popular in the mainstream because of the Freddy character, but they had to learn to adapt because perhaps they saw where this was going and how this was, gonna be just as leading and perhaps hurt their franchise. And now they're like, hey, this might be one of the last ones we do. We got to make this as big and as epic as we can. And it kind of plays into the role of that. And then it's cool that we get to think of the notion that Sturdy took, or not Sturdy, Mick also said earlier how, or no, it was actually Chuck, I think, that said, hey, one dies and one's living, coming back to life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's so many cool different dynamic aspects of duality and these whole notions that come into play with these psychological natures of these characters and stuff. I fucking loved it. And this right here is Jason to me. From here on out is Jason.
Yeah. Well, because like you definitely, because you have, because at a certain point, Jason's just kind of like not too far away from being like, somebody from Wrong Turn or Hills Have Eyes or some shit. Yeah. Especially when he had the bag over his head. But when he actually comes back, it's because you do have the people that prefer before 6, and then you have the unstoppable Jason. That things get a little bit kooky, but it still works. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think I'm still old school, but I do love them all. I do love this franchise.
Yeah, it's hard not to, my franchise. It's hard not to. And again,
I'm in the minority that really, really enjoyed Jason X. So I can't wait till we get to touch on that later at another point too. Because again, from here on out, for me, see, Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street, we got to part 5, and I said I starting to lose my disconnect to it or my connection to it, and then Freddy's Dead comes, and it's like, as much as I gave it the score that I gave it, and I love Freddy, it still is not as in line with the darkness, obviously, and that's the part where I say I start to lose my connection. Where with Friday, it started out with it being like fucked up, but it wasn't as dark to me until it got to here. And now it's, like I said, that ultra beam. We don't even know what the fuck this is. Like, he's already tormented so many people. Jarvis comes back, and now he's like, oh shit. And nobody wants to believe him because now they're trying to treat him like fucking Freddy Krueger, and let's not talk about him. He's gone. Let's leave it be. And now he's like, nope, I'm back.
And it's Jarvis's fucking fault that he even came back.
Yeah,
he was the Judd of the movie, as we say over at Graveyard Talk.
100%.
Did it again. Never mind. I'll come back.
All good, man. All good.
You look like you were gonna say something, Mick. You had your hand up for a quick second. You were like,
No, I was just listening to what you guys were saying. Like, I mean, I'm right there with everything you guys are saying. So, this is the far superior movie, in my opinion.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. My bad.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, when it comes down to both these franchises,
George, what's up?
There's, like, all right, because every Friday the 13th, we all do the marathons, all that shit, right? But you occasionally we'll do like a marathon while watching all the Freddy movies. Dude, to be perfectly honest, the last time I did a Nightmare on Elm Street like marathon, I had to take a long break on it because after like 4, I was like, okay. But Friday the 13th, I can boom, 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 boom. They're always fun to me. They're always fast paced. I think that's a thing with them. It's Friday the 13th movies. Even the slower paced ones are a faster pace than I think Nightmare on Elm Street. I think more happens in most of Friday the 13th.
Yeah, as far as like the kills and the action and shit. Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, it's just maybe that's kind of like why it just kind of because you said that after you got to like 4 or 5 or whatever, it started trailing off a little, and then of course you said 6, party back up or whatever. But but you know, and that's kind of the true point though is because like you get about 4 or 5 and you're like, I don't know if I want to keep going. You know,
Agreed.
You know.
But there's a caveat to that. Although it started to bring me back up, that's also based on, like Mick said, the marketing of the time, the death of Freddy, all that. Until we get New Nightmare, then it's like, what the fuck was the last 2 or 3?
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I am a fan of that one. A lot.
And then with the Jason series, what's the next one we're doing? I almost called you Freddy.
Sturdy?
Sturdy, yeah.
7.
Oh, okay. So we're doing the New Nightmare and Part 7, and then we're going to what?
The remakes after that.
And then we're doing Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason is going to be on Halloween.
Got it. Are we touching Jason?
I'm going to watch.
So those 8 through X is going to be at a different time, a different date, different time. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just for this series, we're keeping it movie to movie and within the canon of what they are, plus the remakes to compare those, right?
Yes, sir. And then Freddy vs. Jason, just to talk about that one, end it off, and you know.
So far, Jason wins. Jason's won this entire thing. 3.
No. Have you been watching and been a part of the same show we've been on? Freddy's won every one except for the last 2.
Well, and to me, I'm talking about me.
I was like,
Dream Warriors is the only one that spikes above, but still the franchise as a whole is better written than every movie.
This is where I think it's almost a tie now.
With 5. At least 5 still feels like a continuation of the franchise.
Yeah. I think this is where it starts to even out the playing field again, because Freddy was up at the beginning on the first, I think, 3 episodes or so, and then 4 kind of, I think we were right on par, and then 5 it was almost on par. Jason won out, and then 6 now Jason seems to be at the lead right now, so I think it's almost balanced at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it goes by your own opinion too, because as far as I'm concerned,
well, I'm going by all of the scoring of all of us together doing the battle. You know what I mean? We're keeping scorecards here. We're doing numbers for a reason. If you were to take the averages, I'm pretty sure we'd be like right now balanced. It'd probably be like 5-5. You know what I mean? Or 4-4 or some shit.
Yeah, you.
Well, no, we only did 6, so 3-3 at this point.
You guys in your 10s.
I can't help it, man. I put it on. If I enjoy it, it's boom.
Hey, this one is the only one that would get a 10.
We'll see.
I mean, Jason Lives.
One that would get close to a 10 for me.
Jason Lives it's kind of its own beast, because it is like, even though a new beginning, but like it is an actual new beginning. So it kind of it restarts it all over without actually like getting away from the franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've always been a fan of all these movies, but this one's just, I don't know, it's just fun, and the kills are pretty interesting in it. I mean, like in the RV, slams a girl's face up, and then he stabs the guy on the side of the head with the hunting knife. Where he bends the sheriff backwards, where he like bends him in half. Found out, I don't think he told us, but when McLaughlin was working on the Dick Van Dyke Show, if that tells you how long he's been doing this shit, that was actually inspired by a gag that they were going to use on Dick Van Dyke, but they didn't use it. And I don't know. I don't think anybody was like, "What was the gag on Dick Van Dyke?" Because as a Nick at Night kid, I used to love Dick Van Dyke. I was like, I want to know, like, well, you get like the neighbor caught up, like what the hell? I thought it was kind of interesting. It was just a very brutal death. I mean, you hear it crunching and everything. I mean, yeah, it's one of the things we love about Jason.
Yes, yeah, that's a huge thing, is how just because it's a slasher and you want it to be violent, and he's definitely not gentle.
And that's the thing. It's the visceral nature of this Jason. And not for nothing. I wanna start one more controversy here. Everybody talks about Kane Hodder, Kane Hodder, Kane Hodder. This guy or these two guys that did this is the movement that gives you Jason. This is the action in the movie that gives you Jason. So Kane Hodder, yes, passed the torch, kept it up, and put his own to it. Don't get me wrong. But this is what set the fucking pace for the Jason. That everybody
Kane Hodder's movies,
they have body roll, the snap stuff.
You could say that, and I'll say Kane Hodder took it to the next level with the next movie.
We'll see.
Kane Hodder is great as Jason, and those movies have moments, but unfortunately, he didn't get a good Friday the 13th movie.
He did, part 7.
Yeah.
7 and 8, good ones.
I need to see 7 again. I haven't seen 7 in 20 years because I hated it that much.
But why? Oh, God.
Who's everybody's favorite?
Favorite Jason?
Who's everybody's favorite? What is everybody's favorite quote from either one of these movies?
Let's see.
Freddy
has so many because there's.
I'm too high for this, Nick.
I can't
give the map, and I can't think of what it is.
The map says we're fucked. That's my favorite line.
Okay.
When he pulls everything and he's going through it all, and then it just says you're fucked. Map says you're fucked.
Okay. This is a good question right here.
No job. No offense, but Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween has some awful sequels.
Unless it's Halloween Kills.
No. I think it's a versus. I think it's a fight, like a battle.
Oh,
yeah. If he has a chance against Jason, and that's the thing everybody always asks, like, who would kick whose ass, right?
Which Jason? Human Jason or zombie Jason?
And then are we also talking about remakes versus remakes, or are we talking about this nerfed new Michael Myers that we got in these last movies versus the original Michael of, let's say, part 6? Like, if we put Jason and Michael part 6 versus part 6, the visceralness, that's the fight.
Curse of Michael Myers versus Jason Lives. Jason? Okay. As a movie, that'd be pretty boring. There's no banter. But as a fight was, I think that's kind of fair.
Here's the connection. For whatever reason, say Laurie gets away, or she moves and say she's just at Camp Crystal Lake. It's called a new thing. She's there with her family. Somehow Michael finds her, and boom, they cross paths eventually, and they fight. That's the easiest way to do it. Because Jason doesn't follow anybody. Like, yes, I know in part 2 how he followed the one chick for cutting his mom's head off and took care of her and, went back. But other than that, and that wasn't that far. It was just right up the street.
Yeah. So I guess in the chat here they said human Jason. So human Jason versus human Michael. Who wins?
It's close.
Interesting.
Jason. But the thing is, that's the weird thing about Michael, though. He was shot 6 times, and he got it walked away to be in a bunch of sequels.
If he were a rapper, he'd be 50 Cent.
That's true.
I guess you couldn't say Tupac.
Definitely can't say that.
Fucked up.
Because only one's walking away. But that's horrible. Why am I such an asshole? I'd say Jason still, even if Michael is just a human, which he's not. He's the shape, But if he's human versus Jason, I was
gonna say he can't have the shape powers or whatever. Then
I would say yeah. Dude, like even like part 2, that Jason. Dude, he's a fucking tough mongoloid. Dude, he's not. He doesn't give a fuck about anything. He's throwing people through windows, whatever. He's gonna take that mask off Michael and wipe his ass with it. You know what I mean?
See, now I love that you mentioned part 2. I love that you mentioned part 2. And 2 things you just mentioned that I love about the Friday the 13th franchise. And they do it, not in every single movie. I wish they did, but they do it in a lot of them. When Jason or his mama throws somebody through a window or through something, I fucking love it. It's some of my favorite shit in horror ever.
I love it too.
About that, because it's not like it's the most, as far as like visually awesome, amazing thing on screen you see in a horror movie. But it's just something, just like, oh my gosh, this is so fucking awesome and hilarious at the same fucking time. And it's just as awesome and just as hilarious at the same fucking time and all that good shit. Like when I first watched this movie when I was however years old I was, too young to fucking watch it. It's still that fucking funny. Like I still get that joy out of it.
even down to chapter to part 4 where he comes busted in through the through Tommy's house. You know what I mean? It's just like it's. I feel the same way about like Lucio Fulci films and Splinters to the Eye. You know what I mean? Like I love that kind of shit. So like you don't hear many people say that, but yeah, I love it when he throws people through windows. It makes me happy.
It's so because it's funny. Like he just and just pulls them through. And like as a kid, they used to scare the hell out of me. And as an adult, I mean, as I got older as a kid, I started laughing. But like as an adult, this shit is fucking super funny.
Oh, dude, that's why I think Jason Voorhees is superior than when it comes down to most, of the top tier franchise villains. Because I mean, he's tough, he's brutal, and it's like it's like it was said earlier about like his kills. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's not like when you go to see Saw, after a certain point, you're just there for the kills. But with the Friday the 13th movies, you're there for the kills, but you also kind of like the story too, because we wouldn't give a fuck otherwise. I don't really give a fuck about the Saw movies; they stick together. Give me some brutality, give me some guts spilling out of people's like guts, or out of their stomach, shit like that. Slice some throats, kill them all. Fine,
I get it.
But Jason, I mean, even down to Jason X, one of my even I'm not a big fan of that movie. He has one of my favorite kills in that. Freezes the girl's face and smashes it.
Boom! Yes.
I think this movie helped build the character of Jason as that over the top. We're gonna do kills, and the only reason I say that is because I don't think that's what C.J. Graham was going for. But I think Kane Hodder ran with it.
Fuck yeah!
If that makes sense, and that's why we get the Jason X kills and all these other ones. Is because they just ran with it. They were like, "Fuck it, let's make Jason this."
I'm just glad they took advantage. I know what I'm talking to Jason X, but I am glad they took advantage of what they were doing with Jason X. You know what I mean? To able to freeze people's faces and smash them, and all that kind of shit.
You have to. You got to go. If put it this way, if you take Jason, Michael, or Freddy to space, that movie better be fucking bonkers. It better not be serious. It better have some crazy fucking dope kills and some silly crazy shit going on in the movie that makes no fucking sense, but makes sense because it's a fucking movie, and we don't complain about it too much because we're enjoying it.
I think Jason X is the only in space movie that's any good. Sorry, fans of Leprechaun, but
no, listen. I tell this story anytime somebody mentions that movie Leprechaun 4 in space. I have to tell this story, and it's on this podcast. I don't remember which episodes they were, but spin the wheel. Leprechaun 4 was picked. Leprechaun in space. I was so fucking excited because I'd never seen it before. I was like, this movie has to be, because these movies are funny. Leprechaun in the Hood, the original, the first two, Leprechaun in the Hood, those are all funny. But like, this has to be fucking ridiculous and hilarious. And oh my god, it was so fucking bad.
I cannot wait.
It was like you get on this big high and then just this. Man, it just took the wind out of me and everything. It hurt my soul. Again, if you want to see the episode, go back and check it out. HorrorWithSir.STURDY, Leprechaun 4.
Yet again, these movies both have certain pieces of imagery and films that now that we're going through these one by one and together, I have such a bigger appreciation for Freddy versus Jason and some of the scenes that they did and how they put things together that mimic a lot of the things from these movies. And now we're seeing it more. I cannot wait for that episode.
I swear to God, that's why Wes Craven had to have made 7 the way he did. Make it meta, make fun of almost horror, but at the same time take his story seriously. Not make fun of horror, but like, you know what I mean, where the direction horror was going in.
Yeah.
And I would, especially if I were him, be mad because People Under the Stairs was treated like that, and so is Candyman. Arguably 2 of the best horror movies in the 90s.
Wes Craven didn't do Candyman.
No, he did People Under the Stairs.
Oh, okay.
People Under the Stairs.
No. I mean, here's the thing. People Under the Stairs, I think that is his masterpiece. So I love that movie.
I got a question in my chat here that says we got somebody who's viewing from Mexico. They said, I would like to know who would you got it there. I would like to know who's the most recognized murderer in movies in your country. It might sound funny, but they want to know. So to you guys, who would be the most recognized?
Movie? Like horror movie type.
Our country?
Yeah.
I'd say Jason, the hockey.
I was gonna say I'd say Jason. I'll leave this up here so if anybody up in the comments wants to answer
For
this
me,
too.
it's Freddy.
I
But
think
it's for you. He's not asking who you think America sees as like the quintessential. So, like, that's why I
do think it's Jason, and I think it's just as simple as the mask. Like, my niece, she knew who Jason was. She's never seen the movies, never seen the games.
Right.
When she was like 3-4 years old, she was like, "That's Jason's mask," and she used to be scared of it. So I painted her a pink one.
Are we just doing these two movies? Because I'd say there's about 5 of them that are tied.
Well,
no, just the top, not out of these two. It's out of just in America. Like, who's the top most known slasher? Who do you think is the most known slasher?
I think at this point in 2023, there's a few that would be tied.
Okay,
I disagree.
People would know.
I can't think more than these two being, because I know people know Halloween. I'm talking, but from the perspective of the world,
you know what I'll say too is with Jason and Michael, people will call Michael Jason a lot more than they'll call Jason Michael.
Yeah,
I wasn't just talking about Jason. Like, I was talking Jason, Freddy, Ghostface, Chucky. I think those 4 are very recognizable.
They are, but I still think Jason is like up here. I'm not just saying like he's my favorite. I still think he's up here above them, and then under them. Yes, definitely.
I mean, there's more references.
Follow up to the notion.
There's more references to Freddy, maybe even more than Jason, but there's more references to Freddy and Jason in Texas Chainsaw Massacre in other movies and other things or whatever than, I don't hear Ghostface references. I don't hear Chucky references usually, So, like, I think it goes right back to Freddy and Jason and all that.
I think you're in the same kind of lane as Chris.
Chucky. That's kind of cool.
I think you're bringing your personal opinion more into this than the world view.
Me?
No, not you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask. Is that the biggest like horror slasher?
That's legit. I'm going to tell you right now, Chucky is huge, not just in Mexico, but down in South America and in Spain.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why it's such a great question. And he asked is that there's so many other countries. Canada, it ain't Jason or Freddy. You go to China or Japan, it's not Jason or Freddy. So I love this question, but I got to say, if we're talking from an American standpoint, Freddy Krueger is maybe just one, and really it is only because of the hockey mask when we talk about recognizable.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like you show a picture of a hockey mask to anyone, they're going to be like, oh, that's the guy. Even if they don't know his name, they're going to say that's the guy from the movie, the Friday 13th.
Yeah, and I feel like another thing with that too, I feel like maybe with some parents, they may feel, and I can even agree with this, like if you're looking at, even if you get the cheap Freddy mask, it still looks scarier than just a hockey mask. So it's easier to kind of get your kids into that kind of, I'm a horror fan, especially if you're a fucking Jason fan, then it's just easy. You just boom. Right out the womb. Boop. So put that little hat up, boop, Jason mask. Shut up.
Yeah, out of these two, I agree Jason would be the one more, but by just a slim margin. I agree with Mick.
I don't think it would be a slim margin, though.
I do.
Margin.
You know what? That's a great. I loved it. I love that we got that. Thank you so much for your question and your ask here.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like I said, I pinned that to the top, right under the charity, because that was a dope question. That was a really dope question.
So then let's ask this. Because, like, let's say Mexico, you have Chucky, and that's like probably their most recognizable in the horror genre, the character. So for you then, knowing a huge country, another big country says that, would you say that Chucky is deserving of that based on American values? Like, do you think he should be up there?
I do.
Over Jason, or
in fact, I would even argue that Chucky is probably may even be more recognizable than Freddy Krueger. I think Freddy Krueger's name is more recognizable than anything else.
Chucky also has the better franchise, I think, than Nightmare on Elm Street.
100% agree with you. I think Chucky has one of the best franchises to exist in horror, franchise-wise. because that's the only franchise that continually reinvents itself or evolves into something new.
Oh my god, like the TV show has just, I think, thrown it into another, like, it solidified it even more that the TV show is so good and successful. That
The first
Freddy,
season was
I
good.
think
Second season
Chucky
killed
is moving into Jason's territory in America. As far
Probably,
as
yeah, I can see that.
I think it comes down to who you ask, who answers it at the point in time, who, like, the demographic of age. Because I was just looking online, just did a quick search. IGN, which does a bunch of reviews and pop culture gaming and all that stuff, they had a poll up in 2020 and people asked. But now let's keep in mind that Michael Myers was bringing more of a presence at that point because of the reboots and stuff. And at that point he was leading by 49% to the follow-up was only 27%, which it was Michael, Jason, Freddy, then Chucky. So, and that's only 13,000 votes, obviously, and that's kind of skewed. But seeing how there was most relevantly a newer movie of Halloween at that point, that can kind of be gauged as a little skewed because it's the most relevant in their mind at that time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of fascinating to see it now with the Chucky show and the Friday the 13th show coming, to see kind of how that gauges. I have a feeling Freddy would be a lot lower.
Speaking of that,
I think shows are going to ruin it, though.
Yep, going to ruin though, but
not Chucky again, because for some reason, Don Mancini can evolve with the fucking best of them and make Chucky work.
I don't like
He
this
stayed
show.
with it. Like, he has consistently stayed with his franchise, kind of like Sam Raimi has stayed with Evil Dead. Even though he hasn't directed, he still had his hands in the franchise. I think that's the reason that those two especially have, excelled.
And I can't judge the show. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and I want to watch it based on what people are saying. But again, it's my respect for not the content, because Seed of Chucky is a fucking bizarre and weird movie that I don't like. But the fact that they kept reinventing and making it work, I have such respect for that industry, for that franchise.
I need to go back and watch Seed of Chucky because I know so many people in the LGBTQ community that like hold that movie up so high because it's a huge representation of them. So I want to kind of go back and watch it through those eyes, because that's the only movie in the franchise I don't like.
It's because the kid has split personalities.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
they go into it like Chucky deals with his child being, but we're not talking about that.
I see that Chucky goes right down, but Jason goes to hell and Freddy's dead. Those ridiculous ones that just for some reason they stand out. I don't know.
I want to see Red Man's Bible epic to this day. Like, I still want that movie to be made.
Not about that.
Hey Chuck, can you keep the cigarette out of focus, because YouTube will hit us with that.
Oh, you should have told me that earlier. My bad. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's fine if you like take a hit. I'm just like, if you hold it up though and they see it, they'll hit. And
oh, okay, my bad.
You're all good, man. I'm just asking.
Damn, there's so many, and that's what I mean. There's so many polls from so many different places. There's different subreddits on it and stuff like that, and they all have different opinions. So, I mean, this might be one of the greatest questions ever asked that we may never ever get the answer to.
I mean, the best way to do it would be to ask that question on your social medias and to say, where
that's true too. We could do that too.
Number one horror slasher icon.
Yeah. Yeah, he said down in his so down in Mexico, they still every year show the first 3 Child's Plays like clockwork during the time or whatnot.
That's fun. Yeah, Joe, check out the show, man. I highly recommend it.
Don't tell me what to do. Ash vs. Evil Dead's the greatest horror continuation TV show of all time. There's so many fucking.
Oh my god, I agree. I mean, that show was amazing too.
Yeah.
That whole sequence in the morgue in season 2 is something that I never wanted to see, but I'm glad I saw it.
They really did justice with that show. I thought it was really, really well done.
What show?
The Evil Dead one.
Oh, yeah. I wish it continued. It was so good.
Yeah, it was good.
It's Stars. You can't start a show that you're really going to fucking like at Stars. Because if it doesn't, because Stars doesn't have fucking streamers. They don't have subscribers. Unless you're like signed into Prime. I'm going to rant for a second. So my problem with that is, because they just did it to Heels too. And Heels is a melodramatic show, but it was a fun show. It was a good show, and I liked it. So what pisses me off about Stars is like Banshee and all the other stuff. they have no fucking streamers, and they think that all these shows are going to pull them in for streaming, but they don't realize the fucking formula, how it works. And then they cancel these shows on me. Stop going to Stars, people.
At least we got 3 seasons.
For you.
3
Bruce
seasons.
Campbell rants about that. I watched an interview once, actually.
Nick, cancel your Stars.
I'm not on Stars anymore. They got rid of heels.
Good. Don't get it back either. Don't let them tease you. Be strong. I believe
That's
in you.
funny.
So does Chris. Jason's a little
man.
iffy.
This was another great freaking conversation. I love it.
Yeah, man. I'm glad. I like the kind of half and
Yeah.
half, like, you know.
And like
Pretty
I was saying earlier too, I respect how Chris is such a big Freddy fan that he's going to give each of these movies those extra points because of that. Because I do the same thing for Friday the 13th. I don't care, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's those extra bonus points for whatever fucking reason you want to give your movie. You enjoy it that much. Fuck it. Here's why. And it's just but it is crazy how, like, I'm looking at my ratings and I'm like, it's crazy how a lot, like, the first 3 to me were damn near even, and then after that it just fucking it just went complete opposite after that. It was like going up and downhill at the same fucking time. Like, what the fuck?
You know, it's fascinating to me because going into this whole series that we've done so far, I would have said that I've enjoyed the Nightmare on Elm Street movies more. But after doing all this and side by side, Friday the 13th is by a landslide better.
And this is exactly why I wanted to do this.
No, Chris, I'm sorry, man. I'm coming at it objectively. Like, I wanted to root for Freddy. Like, Freddy is the number 1 seed, and I am going with the underdog. But the franchise is just better put together as a whole.
100%.
I can't argue that. Which we're getting through it. And we are, again, after we finish this all up and a couple other things, we are going to finish 8 through X and knocking those out, maybe doing it in 1 episode. We'll see. That'll be coming up. It'll be a good time too. It'll be a great fucking time too. Oh man, this part 6.
You should have done the Friday the 13th TV show versus the Freddy's Nightmares TV show.
Oh, there you go.
That's a long
That'd be a
time.
fun one. I haven't watched either of those in a while.
Friday the 13th show is good. I like that show. It reminds me of
Yeah.
Buffy and Charmed.
No.
There's only like 1 or 2 seasons for each of them, right?
There's 3 or 4 of Friday the 13th.
I don't know how many there is for Nightmare. I don't know how many there is for either one of them.
1 or 2.
1 or 2. First episode of that show was so good. Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, that was so good. You guys should go check it out.
It's
Watch
been a
it
while
now.
for me. I might have to revisit.
Revisit
Is that
it.
I've got the VHS that has, I think that's 2 episodes of it, and one of them is the Freddy origin story.
Yeah, that one.
That
The
was
first
actually-
that one's good.
Is that the first episode? Because
Yeah.
that one's actually directed by Toby Hooper.
Oh shit, nice.
Toby,
good.
whatever. Yeah, Hooper.
That's dope.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. I guess we can wrap this one up. Listen, people, all these gentlemen's links are in the description, as well as mine are. I appreciate you guys for jumping in and commenting and all that good stuff. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Awesome question, too, by the way. Awesome questions tonight. And
Great interaction, guys. Thanks for coming through, everybody, on the support.
yes.
Whether you came from TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, whatever it was, wherever you found me and us, thank you so much for coming in and getting down.
Yes, we greatly appreciate
Remember
it.
to hit like, remember to hit subscribe, remember to hit that bell so you know when more great shows like this come out.
Yes, because we're damn near every day. Between this crew, we're damn near every fucking day.
Listen, Sturdy, you can't be high and not outro your own show.
Yes, you can.
Make sure to like, follow, subscribe. This is the Damn Near Horror with Sir Sturdy show, where we talk about everything. Not just horror, we talk about Jada. Choosing a horror movie, so that works.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let us know in
sorry.
the comment section.
2 good horror movies.
Hey, Demon Knight.
I love
Did
it.
you also not realize Mick put his shirt back on? Let me know in the comments below.
Yeah, turn it off.
Wow.
No.
Chris stopped drooling. You didn't notice?
Is it true that in the Jason versus Freddy movie they removed a part where the pinhead was going to appear? I've heard that rumor. I don't know if it's true though.
Yeah,
I think that just might be one of those things, honestly. Because I mean, if you even get the Blu-ray and you watch it all and everything like that, they don't mention it or anything like that, in the commentary or anywhere. So
Well,
mean,
there was 1,000 different scripts that came out with that, so I'm sure there was probably one that had that, and that's probably where it started. Because I've heard that before too. Yeah.
We will be reviewing that movie, Freddy vs. Jason, on Halloween, so you definitely don't want to miss that. That's gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be a fun fucking time with that. I haven't seen the movie in years. I know it's not the greatest, but
it's so good.
So good.
So good.
Amazing.
So good.
I'll have fun with it.
It's my second favorite.
I'll have fun with it. But we're gonna wrap it up though. Everyone have a great night. I'll see you in your nightmares. Peace. Holy shit. This chocolate bar really hit.
Uh-huh.